Hi, my name is Ben Cook, and this presentation will be focused on database types. First, we need to understand what a database is. A database is a large collection of data that is arranged in an organized way. A database, however, is not a collection of the same type of data. There are many different types of data in a database. The database that supports a database that supports certain processes to use all of this data. All right. First, there are many different database types, but there are two that are very important. Those two are called SQL and NoSQL. And SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and NoSQL refers to Non-Relational Structured Query Language. The first is SQL. It gives it the ability to communicate with the database, basically. It is used to also manage data in a relational database. And one important thing about SQL is that it is the standard language for relational database management systems, and it works with the most common, the most common type of databases, which on the screen says it is relational. All right, database management systems. Database management systems are also called DBMS, and this is a software for all computers typically used by a company. And DBMS has the capability to interact with a wide range of applications. Through this interaction, the data will be collected and then eventually processed. Another neat thing about database management systems is that it has the ability to work with other database management systems. This function is supported by SQL, ODBC, or JDBC, depending on the database management system that a company may have. And then here are some examples of some popular database management systems. Some of the well-known ones are Oracle and Microsoft SQL Server, as stated on the screen. All right, getting back to SQL. So how is SQL used? It includes the uses of data definition language, data manipulation language, and data control language. It also requires statements and then is used to perform tasks while updating and retrieving the data on that specific base. So SQL has the ability to do many things. It is mainly used for either updating information to a database or retrieving information from a database. SQL has a command language as well. That gives the option to do different functions. Some of these terms are select, update, and insert. And then also to the right are other functions that can be completed through SQL. Other ones also include delete, create, and drop. Some databases have extensions that only work on their databases as well. Expression, there are also statements that are subdivided into clauses and expressions that are numeric or string values by itself. It predicts specific conditions which they can only be evaluated under. Then some advantages of SQL would include all of them that are listed on the screen. So each table contains one or more data categories and columns. Each row contains a unique instance of data for the categories defined by the columns. Then the user can access data from without nature of the data. That I mentioned was NoSQL or non-SQL. It also has the ability to store and retrieve data. NoSQL is not in relational databases. All right, just a little brief background on it then would be that NoSQL was not popular when it was first discovered. It can also work with other database platforms as well, and not only which got its term not only SQL. It was developed from the divergence of one-size-fits-all philosophy. New data stores emerged from the arrival of NoSQL, and data is freely entered, then caught by a server. The reason to use NoSQL is because the data is collected and it increases exponentially. The NoSQL is designed to make sure it can process all that data correctly. And there are many popular users of NoSQL. It is starting to be Web 2.0 companies came onto the scene. So some of these users include Google and Facebook and Amazon, as mentioned on the screen. They use NoSQL because they need to collect a lot of personal and different data every day. Some of the distinct differences between SQL and NoSQL would include that NoSQL tends to be a little bit more flexible than SQL, as well as SQL focusing solely on data within just relational databases, and there is also no schema required for NoSQL. And then some of the pros about it of NoSQL's efficiency would be that NoSQL has a high scalability, consists of distributed computing, and it's lower cost than SQL, which is it's usually free. And then, as I said, there's no schema required. It's very integrated, and it has auto elasticity. And then some of the advantages of NoSQL again would include that it has limited, that it usually processes data a lot faster than relational databases. NoSQL databases are also often faster because their data models are much simpler, and major NoSQL systems are flexible enough to better enable developers to use the applications in ways that meet their needs. And then, so to recap this presentation, SQL stands for Structured Query Language, which works with just relational database management systems, and its competitor is the other database type, which is NoSQL. So SQL and NoSQL both are great systems and have beneficial applications, and then both help and keep data and storage retrieval optimized and smooth.